So after defining the materials, now we have to tell ETABS the size of the beams and columns. So we have to tell ETABS what is the depth of the beam that we are using, what is its breadth, and we have to also tell ETABS the size of the column and also of the slab. And we have to also tell ETABS what grade of concrete the beam is using and what grade of steel it is using. So for that we have to go to again define. We know that for defining anything we have to go to define, right? So that is very simple. Okay, after that go to section properties, and over here beam and column come under the frame sections. So we'll first define beam and columns. Click on frame sections, and over here we click on add new property, and section shape is concrete rectangular. Okay, so it's concrete rectangular, and the frequently used shape type is concrete and it's rectangular. Okay, so the property name is beam, the material that we are using is M20, and section shape is concrete rectangular. So depth of the section is let us use 350 mm deep beam, and width is 230 mm. So if you are just a beginner and you don't know how to get these values, you can get these values using the preliminary design of beam. And if you don't know how to do the preliminary design of beam, there is a section at the end of this course. You can refer to that section in order to understand various things that are required in order to carry out the design of a building. Okay, so I have included this preliminary design of beam in that section. And once you become a professional, you will eventually know the size of the beams. Okay, this is just an rough estimation, and if from the design results it comes that the size of the beam is much lower, you can increase them later also. Okay, so after giving the dimension, we have to also define the rebars. So for that we'll click on modify show rebar. So here it's M3 design only, that is for the beam. Longitudinal bars will go with FE 500. Confinement bars, that is the stirrups. Longitudinal bar means the bars that go along the length. Confinement bars are the stirrups. So we click on FE 500. So a cover to the longitudinal rebar group centroid. So we'll use the cover of 25 mm, or you can use the cover of 30 mm. Again 25 mm. So reinforcement area overrides for ductile beams. We will not provide any reinforcement override. We will do the ductile detailing manually. Okay, so we click on OK, and again click on OK. If you want to define beams or different sizes for different locations, you can define other beams also. For this course we will be using single kind of beam, and from the design results, if it comes that certain beams fail, we will increase the size of those beams only. After defining the beams, we will also define the columns. For that, again go to add new property and click on concrete rectangular section, and over here we'll name it as column. The material is M20 again, and the section shape is concrete rectangular, and the depth and the width. So the depth, that is depth of the column, let us take as 350 mm. Width also let us take as 350 mm, so it's a square column. And the reinforcement, modify show rebar. The longitudinal bars will take FE 500. Confinement bars again FE 500. So reinforcement configuration is rectangular. Confinement bars are the ties. Check design, so we are designing the reinforcement, so we'll check reinforcement to be designed. So this option over here, the options for the longitudinal bars, clear cover for confinement bars 40 mm is fine. Number of longitudinal bars along 3 direction face, so you can see that. So this is written 3, this is 2. So this face is the 2 direction face, and this face is the 3 direction face. Okay, along 3 direction face. So these options you have to fill if you choose reinforcement to be checked. Okay, this option reinforcement to be checked is used if you have got an already existing column of certain reinforcement, and if you want to check whether or not that column will sustain some kind of load. In that situation, you use this option, and over here you give the reinforcement that already exists in that column. Right now we are using reinforcement to be designed, so it as will not take any data from here. You can just click on OK, or if you want to, you can fill these spaces. So number of bars along 3 direction face is 3, it's fine. Number of bars along 2 direction face, let's make it as 3 also. So longitudinal bar size and area, so corner bars will take as 16 mm, and the so longitudinal bars will take as 12 mm, and the corner bar size will take as 16 mm. And confinement bars, that are the rings, or you can say the lateral ties, confinement bar size and the area, so of 10 mm. So we are using the rebar of 10 mm for the confinement bars. Longitudinal spacing, let's take as 100 mm, and number of confinement bars in 3 direction face is 3, and in 2 direction face is also 3. We click on OK, and after that we click on OK. So after defining beam and column, we can delete these already defined materials. Okay, for that go to delete multiple properties. From here select these things and click on delete selected frame sections. Also select these things, so click here, after that hold shift and click here, all these will be selected, and click on delete selected frame sections. After that, okay, so let's delete this one also, and after that click on OK, and again click on OK. After defining beam and column, now we will define the slab. For that, go to define, again go to section properties, and over here click on slab sections. So we have already got defined materials. We'll click on add new property. So property name is slab, so the thickness is 125, we'll name it as slab 125. Material is M20, and modeling type is slab thin, thick, membrane or layered. So slab thin means that it will take some kind of shear force. Slab thick means that it will take a lot of shear force, for example the shear walls. And membrane means that it won't take any shear force or the load acting on it. So as we know that slab of 125 mm thickness takes some load, we'll go with slab thin option. After that, type is slab, it's not a drop slab, rib slab or the waffle slab, it's a simple slab. Thickness is 125 mm. So this value also comes from the preliminary design, and if you don't know how to do it, refer to the last section of this course. After that, click on OK. So let us delete these two options and click on OK.